on page 14 here in your book, Wake Up, you say, wake up and begin seeing beyond yourself. Begin hearing beyond all karmatic thought. Begin being beyond your conditioned mind. When you begin to understand the practice of self-transcension, being creative is beginner's practice. Being free action is mature practice. And I just wanted to hear what would motivate you to write something like that, to get that out to the people.
Well, seeing that the musicians are holding themselves back by being distracted by their, let's say, their musical pursuits, making their lives really narrow focused on just that, becoming a better player, it's not a problem. It's not all there is. Being the best player, it's not all there is. Being awarded, being recognized, it's not all there is. That's a step on the path. It's good. Step up. So when, in my career, I had to play a lot of back rooms, jazz clubs, good ones, not so good ones, famous ones, not so famous ones, just being in the field with the jazz cats, right, working with them. A lot of them were suffering, and we'd have conversations. And so it's always about, well, man, what are you doing to get free of yourself? What you're suffering is yourself. Everything you're talking about is yourself. What is yourself doing with all that suffering, right? So unless you undo the self of suffering, you're bound to be suffering as a self-being out here, and that becomes your limit. That's all you're willing to be, but that's not all there is. We have to look at that. So musician after musician, blah, 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 I've had contacts in the early days with the Brubeck people, all kinds of players, right? The Sons of Dave, playing with them on the West Coast. And they're great players, and they're all cool cats. But what they were doing, not all there is. It's not only that, learning your music and getting up there and doing a good performance. I mean, we are really much more than that. There's a spiritual side to all of it. And I don't mean just being happy because you played a good gig, or happy because you had some girlfriends who finally got to give you the love you need, or making some money or getting a gig. I mean, these are baby steps on the path. See, so there's a spiritual process that is maybe not seen, recognized properly in the beginning when you're blinded by ambition. So you have to be careful not to be blinded by ambition, self-building, name, fame, stuff. All which are good, great, no problem. But that's not all there is. There are a lot of people who become junkies who fall to the wayside. Why? So the conversation here is about knowing you have something deeper than what you're being as an ambitious musician. There's something deeper that is even more powerful than what you're doing to medicate yourselves. And that's where the idea of enlightenment, practice, or training comes in. Who's strong enough to do that? Who's strong enough to strip themselves completely down to the raw sound, playing? Simple, direct, clear, pure sound, idea, heart, emotion, idea, raw, true inner being, who's willing to deal with that instead of copying what everybody else is copying ad infinitum. Say, for what good reason? To be accepted? I'm not sure about that. That's not all there is. You have to go beyond wanting to be accepted. You have to go beyond society if you really want to get to the real place. You have to go beyond this world, I say.